All right, yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of African Talk Football. Um, it's been a long weekend, man. A lot of goals this weekend. How's everybody doing tonight?
Been better.
As good as we can. I feel that. Again, just want to say shout out to all the fans, all the friends, all the supporters that have been rocking with us. It's been the last couple of weeks have been very fun in the Premier League, and we've also seen some things in La Liga and Serie A as well. We've been talking about that a little bit. I know we touch a lot on our teams, but with the three of us here tonight, I just wanted to start on Liverpool because a few weeks ago we had Poppy on, who's a Liverpool fan over from Senegal, and the Liverpool versus Tottenham match was match of the week. It was everybody wanted to see it because if Liverpool won the match, they would go first place after what transpired. City losing to Wolves, which we'll touch on in a little bit. But this Liverpool versus Tottenham match, I think we all have to speak about it just because I don't like to talk about refs and I don't like to blame them as a part of winning or losing a match. But with the way that VAR reacted this week, we got to start here, man. It was a crazy match. Liverpool went down to 10 men pretty early in the match, and then they went down to 9 men within second red card with about 20 minutes left in regulation, and then there were about 7 or 8 minutes added on that second half of extra time. And I mean, to be honest, we can talk about the double yellow by Yota. I believe that first yellow was, we can just we can dissect it if we want to, but I think it was a little soft. I don't know if there was any contact really. There might have been contact. There might have been contact, but even with the camera view being in slow motion, it looked a little touch and go. But I believe that offsides call for the first goal by Luis Diaz was it was horrible, man. It was horrendous. It was uncalled for. There was no excuse for them to make that call that quickly. And I believe the fact that the the PG, whatever you want to call it, MOL, the governing body that controls the referees, usually when there's a bad call and everyone's kind of like, "Yo, that was trash." There's about a couple of days of deliberation between the governing bodies. There's like maybe a day or two, sometimes a week. But today it was instant, man. It was right after the match. They kind of just took control of the situation and said, "Hey, we messed up." And as fans, we all know they messed up because we were kind of looking during the match like, "Yo, I've never seen a VAR call that quickly. And where are the lines at? First and foremost, where are the lines that dictate he was offsides?" But with the way the game transpired and Tottenham winning 2-1 on a own goal at the 96th minute, it it was vintage Premier League. Whether you want it to be a good or a bad match, it was vintage Premier League. A lot of controversy, a very very good match from beginning to end. I think it was very very end to end. But let's just take a few minutes to like kind of go over that because we have to. Do you think that Liverpool deserved the point? Do you think Liverpool deserved 3 points, any points, 0 points? And as a Tottenham fan, I know none of us are Tottenham fans, but as a Tottenham fan, how do you assess this win if you had to put your feet in the boots of a Tottenham fan right now?
I mean, I mean, if you're Tottenham, the only thing that matters is the 3 points. I think that this is their second or third, definitely their second time this season winning the game in stoppage time. So to get that win at home with just kind of the start that they've had this Premier League season has been great. I think if you're a Liverpool fan, I think that you feel robbed. Obviously, I think that they played that game very well. Even being down to 10 men, they still did their thing, and up until the last minute second, they almost had a point there. So walking away from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with a point wouldn't have been bad, but unfortunately. I mean, I just feel like this is what happens, right? Like, I mean, they were a man down and they were getting peppered with pressure. Like, it's just one of those things where that could have happened 10 times. Matt Tip clears it out, but um, hey, man, you were on the wrong side of the VAR call. I think that they have shown that there is
No,
a,
that's too. No, that's not even like another. That's just pure.
but there's no consistency to it. So like,
Yeah, but that is just abysmal. Like I would.
it's bad.
That's taken. That's just taken away from the work that the players put in. That something outside of their control is what decided the match, and it's not even like it was. It was like controversial. Like no, this is a clearly onside player that scored a goal, and no accountability. Just nope offsides. It's like what? He's definitely onside. We see it from a naked eyes view. Like he's onside. I think Liverpool's are out of this match. I think if they go up 2-0, it's a completely different match. Um, and they probably want to get a second, red card. I'm being completely honest, but I mean, I guess we'll just never know. And Liverpool's, I feel like they're robbed of 3 points this week. Um,
Bro, I completely forgot that they were down to 9 men. Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
yeah.
What's
So
crazy
it's
is
like,
like
Go ahead, so
you got it. Yeah, I was just saying, like, do y'all think that if the PGMLO, whatever, or MLL, I forget what the whole thing is, if they admit that they were wrong, that they should give the point or like fix it in retrospect? 'Cause I feel like I don't know how I
nah.
feel about it, but I just feel like if you admit you're wrong and you know you're wrong, like that, I don't know.
So
What do y'all think about that?
so I said this in our group chat, and I'll keep it brief. But the refereeing has been terrible for the last 2 or 3 years, and they admitted fault
Facts.
earlier this year before the league started. I can't remember the exact referee, but he said, "Yeah, there were calls last year that we decided not to make because we didn't want our friends to get, you know, the worst of the call. We decided that we were going to hold off on making certain calls because we have certain friends that would not agree." And it's just like, bruv, at the end of the day, we need one in like we need honesty in the sport, bro. Across refereeing, you're supposed to be an impartial person that judges the game, whether it's right or wrong. You make the call and you stick with it. And now, when we hear you before the league even starts, you already saying, "Hey, I have friends on this or that side, and we make calls dependent on this or that." Even if it was just one game, we're looking at you with a different type of mentality. And then you see situations like today where, again, I'm in a group chat with multiple football fans. I'm talking Tottenham, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, who isn't even in the Prem right now. And we have everyone in the group chat agreeing that, hey, this call was missed and this is destroying the integrity of the game. It's destroying the integrity of the game, bro. And so for me, I don't care. I really don't care. I think when you have a governing body that only governs themselves, there's no checks and balances. And who is there to check the PGMOL, whatever that, you know what I mean? Like, we know the head of the PGMOL is a referee that we already didn't like when he was refereeing games. So for now, for me,
Yeah.
I, I, I don't know where we go from here. I don't know if it gets better or worse, and it'll get worse and worse and worse until we finally decide to abolish VAR, or maybe make it so that only a Spanish ref can be the VAR assistant in an English game, or
I'm
only a German ref. Like, at this point, it's so muddy. It's so muddied that I don't know how it gets better.
I mean, I think you just have to remove the English guys. I think that's what it is. I think that, but one thing that I've observed from watching just English football is that there's a big bias. There's just a bias everywhere, and it's frustrating because sometimes you're starting to question the integrity of the game, because, like Gabriel said, like, bro, you're just completely throwing away their work for 90 minutes, down 2 men. But I mean, this doesn't happen in any other league. This doesn't happen in Bundesliga. This doesn't happen in Champions League. Watching Champions League for me is refreshing because it's just like I mean, they have a VAR check and it's just it's done. It's complete. There is no drawn out theatric, but that's what you get in England, man. And the fact that they're coming out and saying that, like, oh yeah, I got boys over there, so I'm not gonna put him like in a tough spot, I think tells you everything that you need to know.
Sad. Sad.
It's sad, man. I think the refs should be banned, at least from ever refereeing or being VAR assistants in the Premier League. I don't care how harsh that sounds; they should be banned because it's so early on in the season, man. It's match week 7, and if we allow this to continue, the whole entire integrity of the league gets tarnished, bro. Like it's sad to see, but like you can go back to previous episodes, and I don't like harping on it, but the refs have been terrible, bro. There were replacement refs in the NFL. You know what I mean? And we all decided they're not doing the job they were hired to do. And they were gone within 4 weeks. But we see an entire Premier League regiment, I guess, of refs, and they're all getting each week there's a new story. It's not like this is something new. Each week there's a new story, and it's unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate. I don't really want to talk about it too much. I want to get to our teams, but I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about how there were some very, very, very controversial calls that a lot of people don't agree with. Whether what side of the fence you sit on, you can agree that if we don't see the lines, how do we know that it's for sure an offsides? At the very least, show me the lines.
They
But,
didn't. What's funny is that the Premier League, like the American, I think that they were the American and the English like presentation was the only presentation that didn't show the lines. If you were to watch that game on BN Sports, where it's the Mandem doing that, like broadcasting it, you would have saw the lines there. But the fact that we didn't see it, what I'm saying, read in between the lines.
Something's fishy.
Yeah.
like I said, man, they came out right after the game and said, "Hey, there was something going on. We're investigating." But I hope it gets better. I have no faith that it will. I think they'll get a slap on the wrist, and we'll continue to see these same referees in the VAR booth and on the pitch within a month's time, and everyone will try to forget about it. But let's get into the games where there was less controversy. We saw finally, Solo. We gonna give you the floor first and foremost because losers go first, and Mandem lost to Wolves, so we got to talk about that a little bit because you guys have looked decent. You lost your FA Cup match midweek not too long ago,
Carabao.
and now or Carabao. I apologize. You lost the Carabao match, and now you're losing in the league, which is very, very important considering you guys are the current winners. For me, Solo, I really want to know what was your mentality when you saw your lineup? Because I thought the lineup was a little weak. Sometimes Pep likes to rest players when he thinks this is a lesser match. But for me, I want to know when you saw the lineup, was this a favorable match to you still? And then at the Molineux, when you went down 2-1, was there belief that you could come back?
Normally, I mean, like, because we've had so many times we've gone down 1 goal and just like came back. So I was very much expecting once we got the goal back that we would rally and get it together. But I think like what was difficult was that when I look at our lineup and how we were playing, there was like this. It just felt like I think not having Pep on the sideline was one issue, like because he was up in the stands, and I do think like that was a game that needed his touch a bit to like rally the team in the right way. So I think that was one thing that was missing. But also, Wolves were good, man. Like I ain't gonna hold them. Like we weren't playing to our best, but Wolves were also they showed up. Truth be told, like I mean, there's a lot to be said about City in terms of people say like, oh, it's a given, it's this and that. But every once in a while, when you see like a team like Wolves when they pull up like that, ready to fight, ready to show up. Those are there's still cracks, and there's plenty cracks in the armor. And one of the things with with City at least is that we have so many away games, and it's extremely like the next I think 8 games are away games for us. I think we have like 2 homes, ones in cup games. Um, and I'm just like, that's a lot of like just going away and going to different places. And I think that's part. I think that having to plan around that rotation, it did mess up our lineup. To your point, like because we're having to prepare for an Arsenal game that really matters, like really, really matters. We have to, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we coming up on y'all, and without a Rodri, I think the big one though is that's the one. Then going to that point, Rodri, man, missing Rodri, like Calvin Phillips. This is his season. This is his time to like show up with him out, and he didn't show up really.
He looks so poor.
And I don't know if it's because of Pep's style of coaching that doesn't fit with him. Yeah. It's just tough, man. So that's why I'm like with Calvin Phillips, I'm like, I think he's not the backup we need. We need a better. We should have kept Romeo Lavia instead of selling him off to I think Southampton or something. Like that kid was ready to play. And he was at least he could have like slowly came into the squad. But Calvin, I think, he struggled, man. And I'm not gonna blame him. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying it was a difference between Rodri being there and Calvin Phillips being there. There were 2 shots where I'm like, Rodri gets that shot, like that little long, late arriving to the box, long distance shot. That's Calvin had 2 of those shots. Phillips had 2 of those shots, and he skied them both. And I think that's when we lost Gundo and now losing Rodri, those were our kind of like our players that came up at these times at weird times and just get those loose balls and get a goal in. And now we're starting to feel I think we're actually feeling the effects of that. Because it's not many teams that can handle that much rotation in the midfield. I mean, literally our entire midfield is different from what it was last year. So I think that's a part of it too. It's just rotation, a lot of changes in key spots, not having Pep on the sideline. But honestly, all it comes down to we just didn't show up. And we should have won. There's what I mean? Like we have the talent, we have the players. If we don't show up, we don't show up. And honestly, last but not least, I don't know what the opposite of a shout out is, but I guess I'm gonna make it a call out. What's going on, Holland? Let's talk. You all right over there? Like what's there are times he's still great. I mean, in terms of goal score record,
he's not on fraud watch, but
not here.
He's not on fraud watch, but something's a little off. You know what I mean? Something's up. Clearly something's going off because like he still can score a goal, but he's really struggling to like he'll get just as many chances as he did last year. He's just not making as many of those chances as he did before. I don't know if it's KDB and the way that he does. I know he just puts it on a plate for him, and it's just like, yeah, we just didn't show up well. But yeah, Hwang, I don't understand how Hwang didn't get that second yellow for it to get the red card. I'm still confused by that. If we're talking also referee decisions, because there was a point where I was just like, yeah, that's a yellow. That's a second yellow. That's for sure a second yellow. And I saw the announcer, and it's like, oh, Hwang, he's gonna be off, whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, cool. And then he didn't. And he saw in his face, like the Hwang, the Korean guy, he was just like, he looked around like, okay, it's like time to stay. And then he scored the goal. So I was like, man, like that happened to Liverpool. I was just like, man, yeah, these referees don't know what they're doing right now. In my opinion.
Hey, I'm just happy y'all dropped points.
Yeah, we just didn't show up well. Too much missing rods. Yeah. But so here's a question: is Saka gonna be back?
Nah, yes. Let's keep it for later. Keep it for later.
No. We talk at City right now. That's how I know who you're scared of. But my question to be my question to you was going to be: Pep's been out for a little bit, right? Do you think these games are blips just because he's not on the pitch, or do you see because personally, I'll say this much. Because Haaland is not in the form he was last year, I'm seeing you guys struggle, not necessarily struggle. Let me not say struggle, but I'm seeing you guys not be as dominant as you were last year with a couple of these teams. I mean, today you guys lost, so it's easy to point at today. But even in a few of your last couple of matches, bro, like you guys haven't looked as dominant. And do you think it's a Pep thing? Do you think it's a personnel thing? Like, where do you think that stems from, bro? Because honestly, City can get caught right now, and this is the perfect time while Pep is out for y'all to get caught. So I just wanted to see, as a supporter, do you think it is a big deal that Pep's not there?
No, I do. I do. I mean, you see how he is on the sides, man. He be screaming and yelling. I mean, some people say it's for the cameras, but he do be trying. He be out there just constantly adjusting, and that's how his tactics, I think, and the way he coaches is a constant like iteration and adjusting and like move over here. A lot of good coaches are like that. So, I think that's hard to say that doesn't affect us. I think there's also just like again there's a like we're like one step slower than we were the year before, and we're just a little bit less clinical than we were the year before. And it seems like it's been one of those situations where if we don't figure it out now, I could see it kind of becoming a topsy-turvy season. Like just wins but some losses, and that's going to be great for everyone chasing the number one spot there. So, but for us, it's like I think if we don't catch a rhythm, because we got the Club World Cup coming up, we got what do you call it? Obviously the FA Cup. We have a bunch of really tough games. Like we had a very easy start to the season, which I think masks some of our issues. But now we're getting into the stretch where our season is actually getting difficult. And I think these next 8 games, there's gonna be some losses in there. I don't know which ones. I can't really say, but I just don't. At this point that we're at right now, we need Mateo Nunez to get. He's good. He just needs to get him more acclimated with the squad. We need Calvin Phillips to step up or Rodri to come back. We've got to figure out if we want Foden in the middle or if we want him on the wings. And if
Calvin
we're gonna
Phillips
do it,
man.
Yeah,
He's
gonna get these little shots.
Yeah, I mean, you like he'll get his cameos, but you guys overpaid for him. You thought he was going to be it, and he's not. That's just me, though.
No, I mean they got him because he was a homegrown player. Like they needed to fit the quota, and they got him. But I think it's very simple with City. I just feel like you guys don't have really any creators. You have a lot of facilitators, but you don't really have
missing David Silva type.
I mean, you don't have it. Like who? I mean, like what I'm saying. The first person is gone, KDB. The second person is gone now, Rodri. Foden's a facilitator. Bernardo's a facilitator. You know what I'm saying? The most creative person is Julian Alvarez, and he's a striker. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's very obvious that they don't have any creativity. And Haaland is not a player that can just create something for himself. He needs service,
He does.
He's Shaq. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we needed, if I could, one thing from our summer transfer window, if we could have gone for Eze instead of Nunez. I don't know, or if we were able to close Paqueta instead of Nunez. So I think that because Paqueta is that creativity piece. But I mean, otherwise, bro, it's gonna be a tough next couple of games. The season's finally getting more difficult for us, and we're gonna see what City season is gonna look like. I think in the next couple of games.
As long as y'all keep dropping points, I'm cool with it. I'm good.
Yeah. Tell Pep he looks good up in those stands.
Right.
I love him as a spectator.
Man, every time he's up there, you see him with the AirPods don't do enough, bro. Like he's not able to get that same level of like he be in there.
Bro, he talking to his boo boo. He ain't talking to nobody down there.
He ain't talking to nobody.
Talking to boo boo. But yeah, man. As long as I mean, it's crazy to see y'all vulnerable. Like it's not something we see all the time. So when we do see this little, inkling of a vulnerability, I'm glad that a team like Wolves was able to set y'all off, because now I feel like teams are looking at y'all like, yo, if Wolves was able to get at them, what's saying that we can't get at them, And so it's good. It's good to see that you guys aren't, superhuman or robotic or whatever that is. Another team that is definitely vulnerable is United right now. They've been catching some L's on the low. And I know Salam has been trying to downplay it, but at this point, this is the league. This is not no Champions League. This is not no Europe. This is the league, bro. We got to talk. What's going on?
We got to talk. You're lucky you play tomorrow. But I'll just say, I think this is a fact. This is United's worst start to the Premier League season ever. I think it's very concerning. I like Andre Onana, but I think it's very and there is no like one person to blame. But I think it's very concerning that every shot on goal seems to go in. I think that Anderson had a great strike. They only created that one chance, maybe two chances the whole game, and that one chance was the one that went in. And it's unfortunate that we can't score. I think that that's a big reason why we can't really compete in these games. We don't have really a goal scorer. The person that we relied on last year, who got the contract this year, is not um, currently up for it. Hopefully, he can go away and find some form. Hoyland still needs a little bit of time, but um, I just think again, just like we're shaky in the back, we're unbalanced in the midfield. Ten Hag is responsible for that, and the strikers can't score because of everything else that's behind them, and not just behind them. I mean, it's the situations that they put themselves in, but Crystal Palace loss was bad, man, and I think it's very telling. But at this, like, I mean, I'm to be very honest with you, like, this is where we are as a team. This is just where we are.
Facts.
Everybody is dealing with injuries right now, so I don't want to say, oh, look at all these injuries, but we have a lot of injuries. So does everybody else. But Amrabat had showed that he's not a left back. We need him. We need him in
He
midfield.
never was.
We need him in midfield ASAP. I mean, he's playing there because we don't really have anybody. All three of the left backs are out, so somebody has to be back there.
So Salam, I'll ask you this question. Right now, 7 matches in, 7 match weeks in, do you think your biggest issue is offense or defense?
Offense, because we can't score. I think when you look at the game, when you look at the Crystal Palace game again, like they only created the one chance on goal. The goal, which was inevitably the goal, and then if you just for the sake of debate, if you want to say that they created two chances in the whole game, that's a pretty good defensive showing. I think that the fact that we can't score is the problem. I mean, we're losing these games 1-0, like you know what I'm saying, and I know the 3-1s, but I mean, even in the 3-1s, it's like, well, when you look at those games, and it's like, well, that 3-1 could have been 3-3, 3-2, whatever the case may be. But I think the biggest problem is that we can't score. The person that got the contract, I mean, both of them. It's not just him.
Put a name on it. Put a name on it.
I don't want to put out this like Rashford witch hunt, but it's like it's not just Rashford, it's Bruno too. It's these guys that like we champion and say like, hey, you're supposed to be this, but it's like, yo, you Bruno, this whole season, Bruno, you haven't done anything. In the big games, you don't show up. Like that's just like a fact. But like this year, you just the goal that you had against Burnley, magnificent. Thank you. But where like when we needed you, you're our captain, and it's just like I don't know, bro. It's just kind of like you're always moaning, and I'm just like, I think, and the final thing for me is like, what is our identity? You know what I'm saying? I talked about this last week. Like why? Like the Onana signing is so puzzling to me now. Why do we have a ball playing center back, like a goalkeeper? Why we don't keep the ball? Why do we do that? We need a goalkeeper who's going to make saves. The same guy we let go. That's who we needed there. Like why is Mason Mount here? We already have a Mason Mount.
Wow, how the tides change. How the tide,
Bro,
the same guy who's saying De Gea out.
We 7 weeks in. I asked him a simple
No,
question, and he can't decide if it's offense or defense at this point.
I told you the answer, Cornelius. I said it's
all right.
It's the offense, but everything that I'm saying is facts though. Why? What are we? We're not a possession-based team. So like, why do you have none of our attackers are possession-based? Marcus Rashford, do you think he's possession-based? Bruno, he can't keep the ball. Casemiro can't keep the ball. We're a counter-attacking team, and I think Ten Hag needs to realize that before he gets the sack, because these guys, they'll get you fired. If they've shown anything, they'll get you fired. They'll get you fired quickly, bro. And I think, yeah, man, I think, remember, go back to that Ralph Ragnick press conference after the Liverpool game. This team needs like 9 or 8 players for them to play the way that all these other teams are playing. We can't even play like Brighton, Newcastle. You know what I'm saying? Forget, Man City, Arsenal. We even Brighton, I can look at them and tell you what they're doing. United, it's just, hey, Rashford, go long. And if it works, it works. But yeah, man, I think if you can't score, you can't win games. And United's problem is that they can't score.
That's true.
I agree, man. I mean, so as an Arsenal fan, as a Man City fan, you currently see Manchester United in 10th place.
Oh yeah, don't worry about
Are
us.
they threats to y'all?
No.
Because I know Chelsea isn't a threat to y'all, so I'm not even gonna.
It is. We're 7 games in. That's how I feel. We're 7 games in.
But looking at them, like, I mean, Chelsea has already seen Liverpool. I would say Liverpool's a threat, even though we saw them week 1 and we're only at week 7. Chelsea hasn't seen either of you guys yet. So for me, I'm looking at teams at how they play everyone else in the Prem. I can tell you right now, I see City as a threat. I see Arsenal as a threat. Even as bad as we are right now, I feel like if I see Manchester United, we could catch them on a 1-0 Brighton team.
No, not you.
You know?
Not you guys. No, Cornelius. You guys are the
worst.
proper
terrible.
You guys are the
It's
worst.
middle.
On the pod, you are firmly the worst team.
We're the worst team on the pod, for sure. I'm gonna put that on wax.
Even in
But
the
at the end of the day, again, we're only 7 matches in. And I don't think that we've seen the best Chelsea. We don't have to talk about Chelsea. We didn't play this week, but we have not seen the best of us yet. We've probably seen the best of United. We've seen the best of you guys.
We've seen the best of United. I don't think
So what?
You can't say that. Everyone's not back yet.
No.
You can't say that.
Right.
I don't think you've seen the best of anybody. It's 7 games in, like you said. You haven't even seen. I think the closest team. Who would you say? Arsenal, but Arsenal.
No.
Arsenal has
Tottenham has been the most.
Tottenham would probably be the
right,
best
Tottenham.
team in terms
Well,
of
they
form,
seem like
and they have all their players
not,
available.
You're not. You're because you lost Jesus. So like I guess.
No, bro, we have so many people out right now.
Partey's
No,
out.
I'm just saying. At one point, though, you guys had. Well, I guess everyone at the beginning of the season had everyone healthy for the most part, but
Don't say everybody.
Yeah.
actually, no. You guys lost Timber. I'm tripping. I forgot about it.
Oh,
That
bro,
was the biggest one.
We
Yeah.
have a lot of injuries right now, man.
What'd you say?
But yeah, I mean, as far as United, and that's why I asked you if you thought it was an offense or a defense problem, because I've seen you guys score, but I've also seen you guys very, very, very suspect at the back. And now with Lisandro getting surgery, it's a whole thing where you're going to be missing him for X amount of weeks. So,
But it's like, why is he having to go get surgery though? I don't even want to spend too much time on it, but like, why he's having to get surgery is because he was forced to play. We don't have anybody else. So I mean, like, I just it's just one of those things. If you had more depth, you wouldn't have to force your players to play when they're hurt. But City, Arsenal, man. You guys are the. I mean, I don't know what the primetime game is, but if I were to guess, I would say is this one definitely. A rematch of last year, first place, second place. Just kind of look from a neutral perspective. I think I would probably have to side with Arsenal having the more momentum right now, especially with City not having Rodri, and I mean just City not really. I don't know. Some say City doesn't look like their best right now, but I don't know, man. How do you guys feel at the Emirates?
All I know is we need to take advantage of this moment. We were taking advantage of when we didn't have Saliba. They don't have Rodri. They don't have KDB. We just need to take advantage of this moment. I feel like we've been waiting on this matchup since last year. They beat us twice. at their home and at the Emirates. They beat us at the Emirates like 3-0, like 3-1, something like that. So I feel like this is a little bit of revenge time for us. I'm not even gonna look too much into it, but you know, I need our team to perform. I just need our team to perform. That's where I'm at. So whatever we need to do, midweek, another momentum match. We play Lens, get a dub, but then come Sunday at 11:30, it's business. And I need everyone to be healthy. I need everyone to I can really care about playing Lens. Like, play the guys, Reese Nelson and Smith Rowe. All those guys can play in Champions League. But come Sunday, like I need my 11 to. If whoever is healthy, I need them to be playing. And they need to get a dub. It needs to happen. If we split the series, it's acceptable. But we can't just lose 2 again. Like we just can't. We can't afford it. That's again the difference between winning a title and losing a title. So that's where I'm at. I expect us to win. I really do. Especially if we have Declan Rice. I really do expect us to win. But City is City, so we'll see.
Is there a possibility that you wouldn't have Declan Rice?
At this point, I don't think so, but who knows? Who knows what he's going to do? He's been killing Saka recently. Saka's been coming up limping every match, and he's still playing 75 minutes when we're up against Bournemouth. So, I don't know what lineup he comes out with, but it really depends on what lineup he comes out with. I expect Declan Rice to be healthy, though. I expect Trossard to be healthy. So Nketiah won't have to start. But yeah, no, I expect these guys to be healthy. I don't think we'll have everyone back, but hopefully Fabio Vieira played over the weekend. Trossard was on the bench during the weekend, and Saka still played, and Declan Rice started. So positive signs. So I expect these guys to be healthy as well. And Wednesdays, or I think we play Tuesday this week. Tuesday is Tuesday, but Wednesday or Sunday is really the day that I'm looking forward to. And business needs to be handled.
Yeah. I'll say this. This is definitely the least confident I've been going into a game matchup with Arsenal in a while. Like, this is definitely the least confident I think any City fan has been going into the weekend with them. Yeah, we're just like, I think now, like I said, this is when the season's picking up for us fully. And we're just obviously still figuring some things out. So this is the time for, I think, Arsenal to get points off us and take advantage of it. No question. I feel if I would say that as a neutral, I could see if someone were to bet against City, I wouldn't be mad at that. But I think the best bet would be to say like a draw would be, I think, what I could see this coming up as maybe like a 1-1 or something. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of passion in this building, and it's building in this specific set of teams. But it really, I think it depends. What's interesting is it depends more on the injury and the team selection for Arsenal, I think, than it does for City, because we know who our 11 is going to be going into this. We have injuries, but we've had these injuries for a while, and we already know Rodri's not coming. There's no like in or out with that. So we're probably going to play the same 11 we've been playing for the past 3 or 4 games, or to some certain degree, maybe Doku on the right and Grealish starting on the left now that he's back. But other than that, I see the rest of the team. Alvarez down the middle with Foden, maybe Kovacic. It's really going to be I think this is the game where if we're going to figure it out, this is when we really need to figure it out by. Like, if going into this weekend and not having sorted out what some of the issues that we're having with our creativity, as you mentioned, Salam, so is going to set us up for I think a low scoring game, regardless of the outcome. But yeah, I would say my biggest thing is if Saka is playing and how healthy he is, because he's on fire. I can't even like front like that he has been great for Arsenal at the start of the season. So if he can show up even 75, 85% of himself, I could see him causing so much damage right now for the mid. But I also see this is also feels like a match that a player like Doku, who's very creative, good on the one-to-ones, I think can really show up for. So he could, this is a match where a hero, someone has to step up. If it's Haaland, he needs to step up. Someone needs to step up, and we're just kind of hoping for that. But I would say, as a neutral, I see a draw coming out of this. I could also see a loss. I ain't gonna hold you, but I think a draw is more just like considering the history of our matchups and just how they've gone. Personally, though, this again, I don't want to say I think we'll lose or anything like that as a fan, but I would say it's the least confident, absolutely the least confident I've been. I'm like, all right, like I usually bet on City games. I'd be like, all right, we put a little, something like that. But this one, I'm like, I'm cool. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I really have no idea.
Keep your breath. So I mean, I would assume with Rodri out, the midfield would be Phillips, Kovacic. I don't know.
Foden.
And I mean, I guess Julian Alvarez has been playing as like
his mind out.
It's like as like a 10 almost. So like,
yeah.
Or Bernardo. I don't know. I think that you guys have it'll be interesting. I think with no Rodri, I think Rodri, low key for me has been like your best player. I know that like
100%.
Mundo and all these other guys, Haaland scored 50 goals last season. I understand that, but Rodri, wow, what a play! He's so clutch. I've never seen a player like as clutch as him.
And like of his profile too, he's such a he's very quiet. He's not very like all over the place, but he shows up for Spain, for City. He shows up. I mean, he scored our Champions League winning goal. And what's crazy is like no one really sees him as like there's still people that still question him as like the best DM and right now. I'm like, he's the best DM. I don't know who else is there. I don't know any CDMs that really are up there with him at this level because Casemiro's showing age. Declan Rice still getting there. A bunch of other people are still
Declan's there. Declan's definitely there.
Declan's there.
I just think that they're different players though, so it's hard to compare. Like,
that's true.
So Declan is like big body guy. He's not really like that good with his feet. Well, compared to Rodri, but hey man, with the way the game's going nowadays, you need guys like Declan, man. You
definitely do.
You need legs and you need else. So, but yeah, man, quickly I mean, you guys did your game. Gabriel, give us a score. Did you give us a score?
I got us winning like 3-1.
Yeah. Question for the both of you, actually. So how do you think that you're going to line up midweek? Because, I mean, none of you guys really have the luxury of, you can't really play like the Mandem. You know what I'm saying?
I think midweek, I think Tomiyasu will start. We might even see El Neni start. Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson. I think maybe Jesus will get 60 minutes. I think Kai Havertz will probably start. Or maybe Fabio Vieira, one of the two. I'm not sure. I think Ramsdale might start, if I'm being honest.
So you're still putting out a pretty solid team.
I think we'll put out like maybe there'll be I think defensively we have to start a couple of guys. Like I think a Gabriel will probably start. I think Gabriel will start for sure. And I think maybe not Saliba, but I think Tomiyasu will play with him there. I don't know. Honestly, I'm curious to see how he does it, but I think maybe one or two of our regular starters defensively will start. Outside of that, maybe Kai, maybe Odegaard, and the top three will be Nketiah, maybe Jesus, and like a Reece Nelson or something. But yeah, I don't expect us to play all the Mendem. The Mendem need a rest for sure.
I mean, for us, because we're going up against Leipzig, which is the second best team in our group, at least. I think we do have to make sure that we get this so we can, end up at the top of our group. I know they're going to definitely start Gvardiol because that's he's playing. Anytime I feel like when teams play against the team that they just got a player from, they always start that player when they first meet up with them. I've noticed that pattern. They'd be like, all right, play against your team. I'm like, bro, the same thing with Macho Nunez at Wolves. So I definitely know Vardiol is gonna start. I think the people that start in our midfield this time is gonna be what helps us to know who starts in Arsenal's game. Because whoever isn't starting there, I think is who we're going to have playing against y'all. So I definitely see like Kovacic, I think, playing this game. Nunez playing probably alongside him, and then most likely I think I could see resting Alvarez right now, because he's been our most productive player. He's been our most consistent player attacking wise. So I think giving him a rest would be a really smart idea. But yeah, it's up front though. I mean, Holland scored 5 against them last year, so it's like this is your chance to get if you want to, so, you know what I mean. If you want to score a goal, this is your chance, boy. We got, and I could see Grealish is not starting, but maybe Silva. If Silva starts, then Doku's playing against Arsenal for sure. If Doku starts, then Silva will be against y'all.
Okay, I can agree.
I'd play Doku, I think, if I were you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think United 2 games at Old Trafford this week. It's going to be hard. We got Galatasaray in the Champions League on Tuesday. It's going to be a difficult game. Wilfried Zaha has been killing it for Galatasaray, so I'm sure he'll be up for a return to Old Trafford. I think that game is going to be tough. Somehow, some way, I still see us getting the 3 points. I think that we're better off against these teams that are not in the Prem. The teams in the Prem, I'm finding that like the intensity, the game, like I don't know, it's like too much for us. But like whenever we go away, it just seems as if like we just look better against these teams that are out of the Prem for whatever reason. But I think we'll get the 3 points against Galatasaray, and then we have Brentford at home on Saturday. So again, 3 points. We have to be able to win. I mean, we're in 10th place right now. We only have 9 points. So I mean, dare I say, I'm gonna go for a GRG this week. GRG this week.
I just want to say my GRG for y'all against Bayern was really close. It was when y'all did 4-3, I was like, okay, here we go. Yeah, I think you're great.
I think this is a GRG. I don't know which game. But we will get right in one of these games. The tough thing for us is that there's 2 games though, so hopefully, you know how that goes. But yeah, man. Enough of that. We'll see what happens. Quickly, I just do want to shout out someone. Well, not really someone. A team, FC Cincinnati, number 1 in the Eastern Conference of the MLS standing. You know, showing Ohio how it's done. You know, the real club team in Ohio. I'm just saying, man. Ever since I left Columbus, man, no one was the same. And you know. So yeah, man. Shout out FC.
You can't be hating on the crew, baby.
Yeah. So you're not even a crew fan anymore. You're a DC United fan, bro. I don't want to hear it. So.
Nah, I'm a crew fan. I still got my thing. I still be watching. I don't watch, but I keep on the.
You don't got the MLS. You don't got the Apple package. I don't want to hear it. You don't got the Apple package. You don't be watching, man. You don't be
right.
But yeah, big games this week. Comment what you guys think of the Man City Arsenal game. Definitely want to get you guys' feedback on that. And till then, as always, good luck to you